But the biggest number one thing I see sabotage is people, and it starts with the CEO or founder, the person at the top. For better or for worse, I've seen a lot of leaders say they want to level up and do things, and then unintentionally, without awareness, just undercut it. And then they're like, I tried it, it didn't work. It's like, well, time out. I just watched you blow this up. So, I mean, that can often be it. Now, I've seen a lot of other well-intentioned CEOs and leaders that just don't understand why something isn't working. So, I mean, step one is you as the leader, you've got to commit to it and you've got to take ownership of the outcomes. That idea of extreme ownership to me is really an unlock. One of my favorite books I ever read, and it's Follow on the Dichotomy of Leadership. As the CEO or founder, you have to take ownership of the results. You don't get to delegate that away. So that's the biggest thing.
I think it's funny that you use the word sabotage, because that's literally what they do. And, we see it all the time where top executives, they don't mean to do it, but they'll set themselves up for things going wrong, and then they get to throw on the cape and come in and be the hero. And they don't really even recognize that they're doing it. And so much of the operating system is about pushing that responsibility down into the rest of the organization so it can bubble up. And
100%. And I really think I think EOS, Pinnacle, all those guys would do well to put extreme ownership on their clients' reading lists, because it really gets you to go, okay, you make an assumption every time. This is on me. If it's on me, then how do I fix it? And how do I fix it if the answer isn't scream louder? You know what I mean? Because that's what you would think. It's got Jocko Willink on the cover looking like an angry, gorilla. No offense, Jocko. I'm using Joe Rogan's terminology for you there. But and it's actually like when you read it, it's actually, there's no ego. There's no bravado. It's like you've got to get the humility to change. And becoming aware of that isn't something I see. Well, what I'll say is the CEOs that I've gotten to know that are successful to a person are very good at learning and changing and adapting. And the ones that have ridden the curve all the way up to those really high levels of revenue will tell you how I managed at this stage was fundamentally different from the next stage. Yep. I had one person say I had to become a different person. And I think that might be an overstatement, but yeah, how you interact and what your role is does change. The other thing I see get in the way, and I get why it happens, but there's a little bit of, with some of the operating systems, they come in like, okay, thou shalt do it this way, and there will be no other way. Right. But sometimes they mix their own marketing interests in there, and it undermines trust in the parts that are principles based. Mm-hmm. Because you are asking people to use certain terms sometimes over another. So when you kind of mix your business interests and the marketing in there with the principles, that undermines trust a little bit for a lot of people that have, that understand what's happening there, if that makes sense.